Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. How's everyone doing? Good morning, John. Good morning, Sterling. Good morning, Patrick. Good morning, Anissa. Good morning, Bull Strike Cheetah. Good morning, Mark. There you go. There you go. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Jacob. Thank you for putting it. Home Depot was a misbeat, up 2% on that, reaffirming guidance. But I'm surprised it's actually up 2%, but it doesn't matter if I'm surprised or not. Good. There we go. I was going to say good morning to the Red Book numbers. Well, good morning, Red Book numbers coming in at 5.4%. So, what do we got going on? Good morning, ES forming inverted head and shoulder. Oh, we can take a look at that. I didn't see a inverted head and shoulders. Good morning, Tony. Good morning, Royal Palms. What do we got coming out today? We got Red Book already out. Then we got a bunch of Fed speak. That's it. I mean, how much more Fed speak are we having today? Hello, Charles. So we also, yes, retail. I mean, it was shocking. Retail running in to buy the dip yesterday. It wasn't even that big a dip. Coming in at 4.1, according to JP Morgan, what was it? $4.1 billion in retail stock purchases yesterday. Massive. So retail just has an insatiable appetite to buy this market. And flows are still positive. So we'll keep an eye on that. Other than that, going into the open, there's your Home Depot up 2%. UNH still continues its bounce back. Palantir up 1%. Other than that, mega caps slightly down besides Tesla and Google. Groups, we have healthcare. Healthcare leading. And technology, real estate, basic materials lagging. Fed watch, we still have pause through July and first cut in September. Fear and greed still solidly in greed mode. Schiller PE 36.64 in this dirt cheap market. What else? We had Home Depot. We already talked about that, and that's really it for earnings. After the close, we got Palo Alto's the big one. Then for the people watching housing, Toll Brothers. And tomorrow morning, we got Target, TJ Maxx, and not on the list, but reporting tomorrow, unless something's changed within the last day, would be Lowe's. So, hello, Daniel. So, yes, Japan's, I got, and they're 30 and 40 year highest on record. I don't know if the 40 years is the highest on record, but 30 years. Thank you for putting that in, Sterling. All right. Where do we sit? So, the only thing I'm watching is we do still have uh, a technical little double top. Might be invalidated in the next couple bars if it does not close below this low of 58.92.75, and that's only a minor pullback pattern. If you're looking at this, see, I'm not seeing an inverted head and shoulders on any time frame here. This is just a sloppy channeling mess. I'd just be looking, if you're going to play something in the open, I'd be looking about 59.74 for a possible breakout play into a clear path move if it wants to ramp up into the open. That is there's not a clearly defined head there. So, other than that, if we did trigger the bigger pullback pattern, it could get all the way back to the 200, the 5,800 area. That's the only minor thing, and it's against the rotation zone. So again, lower probability. Other than that, we're closing in on that 87.5, 59.99. I still think that's the magnet price. Nothing's changed, basically, even on the probabilities plus the 6K. I mean, this thing wants to check off, regain the 6K level. Still watching for a better pausing bar. This is just a minor 4-hour pausing bar. Because, again, if we pulled back more yesterday, it would have been turned into a daily, which we did not. So I'm not really using the 6120 level just yet. I'm going to be watching to see when we get the bigger pausing bar. Still very overbought. Cycles rolling over. Still watching for a potential cycle rollover play. But again, even if we don't trigger the double and pull back, we got some very key support about 59.20 to 59.25. So NASDAQ, there is no potential double top here. You can see that it's a multi-top pattern. Again, 21,680 is the next magnet price. Very key support, 21,165. Then below that is a 20,000, roughly 20,000, 21,000, 20,975 to 21,000 is my next key support level. And you see here, this 21,165 is right at the top of the daily rotation zone. Also cycles rolling over and trying to get out of overbought. So far, we just have a multi-day sideways correction. Again, on the breakout, I'm shooting 21,680. Above there, it's getting into some very major resistance. If you need another target, I'd be using about 21,875. The Dow, next minor thing is 43,100. And then we have 43,295 are the next two targets in the Dow. The major pullback level is right around 42,450 to 42,500. Russell, still just a sideways, still caught in this sideways band. If it does get up above 2,124, 2,139, and then if it breaks above there, the major key target is still this 2186, 2187 area. VIX, again, after yesterday's little gap up and key reversal with the rally, still no fear in this market whatsoever, shrugging off everything. The DAX still has a little potential double top in play unless this gets above 24,169. If we trade above 24,169, the double is off the table. Again, on a continued rally, 24,630 area is the next major target. The 10-year. The 10-year, that surprised me with a pretty decent drop, but back to the rotation zone. Yes, there is still a potential double in place. Still, unless we rotate back up here and get about 4.53, then that potential double would be off the table. I'm still watching for higher yields based off the 62.5 rule. So here's our 30-year. Again, still basing. Little pullback yesterday, but still basing at this poking above 5%, dropping below it. I'm still watching. That's been very key resistance right now. Dollar index. Again, I'm looking for this to still put in a bottoming pattern. Now, if there's a major rally today and it closed above yesterday's high, it would be a % beat buy, not counting on that today. But we'll be watching possibly tomorrow today's high. Crude. Got to drop down in time frame. Hit the first target yesterday on the double. It's very chaotic double, but hit the first target. Now the invalidation point is on a close above 61, below 61.31, or a trade below 61.03 would invalidate the remaining targets on the double. Other than that, still watching for a slight grind higher move. What else do we have? Gold, not doing much. Gold, after triggering the double, has not done anything. So there's nothing new to report on gold. Here's your Japanese 40-year. There's your 40-year. Woof. That's getting, I mean, they had bad auctions yesterday. Bad auctions. 40-year trading at 3.618. Look at it. Where did it start the beginning of the year? Started the beginning of the year at 2.6. This is a massive move. Even back in April from the tariff tantrum, it was trading below 2.6 for a bit. Now it's 100 basis points higher on a 40-year bond. That is a massive move. Things can get very interesting with the yen. Tomorrow, though, I'm going to be watching for a potential bottoming move in here. A potential bottoming move. I'll be watching today's high. It could be setting up for a % beat buy. Euro, still nothing here. Watching for the next rotation play down with cycles at the top. Just like I'm watching for the next move up in the dollar index. Other than that, the topping pattern is still in play, has not been invalidated yet. Spiders. Slight gap down today, so on any rally, 594.85 is the first target, and then the 87.5 is 596.80. Your major support coming in about 585. Your minor support area, let's take a look here. Your minor support is right around yesterday's gap down opened. Okay, you can see here it was a resistance shelf right in here. And then it was a gap down reversal, so that is the key area, about 580, 791, to 588. On the Qs, again, gap down right now. Slight gap down, 520.28. Key target, 522.01 on a rally. And then the target being 523.51 to check off the 87.5 rule. The minor area, I'm looking just above yesterday's gap down open at about 516.25, 516.50. The major area I'm watching on any pullback now is closer to 511. Personally, I'm being patient on gold in the short term because it's triggered a double top pattern. Good morning, Harold. So I'm just looking to see what Sterling posted. Thank you for posting all that, Sterling. What else do we have? We got the good old Bitcoin. Bounce back yesterday with the snapback rally. Still not much to talk about in the short term unless Bitcoin, if Bitcoin starts getting below 100,700, I'll start watching for the bigger pullback. Other than that, nothing. There's no major topping pattern yet. Tesla, still with yesterday, it confirmed a double but not triggered it. Now, if this rotates back up, it looks like it's going to invalidate the double if it gets close to that 350 level again. It's buy everything still. That's all especially retail. Now, that worries me, but there's no topping pattern yet. When retail's pouring into this level, you know what? I would not be rushing into aggressively buy the market. I'd be trailing. If there's short-term things, fine, but I would not get married to any long positions in this market. What else we have? We have NVIDIA. Little gap down today. Found resistance at the 75% harmonic. If we do plow through that, 144.82 is the next key level there. Broadcom, again, gap down to rotation zone, closing the gap from yesterday. It's literally still. Stocks down. Stocks aren't down much. Stocks are down 20 basis points. VIX down. Bonds down, dollar up. It's again, you just have there's no fear in this market. Retail has no fear, and that's what's driving this market. Passive flows in retail are driving this market. Period. Okay? So VIX is down because there's no fear in this market. Everything's hunky-dory. The problem is when things get to this level, and you say stocks are down, they're really not. 20 basis points is nothing. Okay, it could be evaporated on the open. And the Dow is flat. The Russell's only down 13 basis points. So yields are trying to just grind higher. I wanted to get some more feedback on yesterday's price action in the 10-year, but haven't been able to yet. Other than that, you know, quick check on Amazon and Meta if you have a sec. Amazon, sure. Amazon, gapping down to 204. Again, we nearly got to the second target. Still going to be watching. It's in the rotation zone now. Still going to be watching for another move back up with cycles getting to the bottom. What would invalidate the double would be it has to get back all the way to 180, 182. Would I have a stop that far away? No, I wouldn't. I'd be watching the 50 and the bottom of the rotation zone on that. Meta. Again, pulled back, nearly got to the second target, pulled back, and now rotating back up. Little gap down again today. But the key area I'd be watching on any pullback is 604. We're way above that. By the way, pay attention to yesterday's high if Meta gets a rally on, because that could be a little rotation zone and percent beat buy. And the next target is 667. I told you I was using this key breakdown level in front of the traditional second target. That's where that black line was, right around 657, 658, which we did check off. So, but the traditional target is still 667.38 and then 693.88 on a continued move higher. Corn weekly double triggered. We had a weekly double on. Oh, the double top. Did it trigger? Not on mine. It didn't. Needed a close below the low of 442, and this close was 443. It's confirmed it has not been triggered. If you're looking at this double, let me just verify we're looking at the same one. Completely valid. Technically not a trigger. It's been confirmed but not triggered yet on the weekly basis. If you're looking at on the daily basis, it wasn't even triggered. So I don't have it on mine with the continuous contract, Connor, unless you're seeing something completely different, but it needs a close below 442. All right, there's not much else to talk about. I mean, the market just keeps trying to grind higher. Yes, we're going to at some point get a primary reaction down. That's a very nebulous comment. When's the right time to invest? Again, you're asking what's your time horizon? What's your, again, how much liquid money do you have? That's, when's the right time? Well, it depends if you're talking on a short-term trading or long-term trading. If you have a 20-year horizon, you can be putting something in the market constantly, especially on pullbacks. If you have a 1-year horizon, I would not be loading up with a lot of risk. And what's the best amount? It depends on what income you bring in, what your net worth is, and everything else. You just can't, there's no blanket answer to that statement. If somebody's giving you a blanket answer, then I would not rely on it. That's, that's why you have to analyze. That's why there's also certified financial planners and everything else. It depends on your horizon. And also what your risk tolerance is. So with that, again, not much else to talk about. So I'm not going to keep everybody longer. If it does grind higher, pay attention to that 87.5 to tick that off. And we'll see. We got lots of Fed speak today, but the market doesn't seem to be reacting to anything negative for the short-term time being. With that, I'll talk to everyone tomorrow. Bye for now.